Well, for more on this, I'm joined by BBC Arabic Saeed Shehata. Saeed, good to have you on the programme. Just tell me about the reaction, not only from people in Gaza, but across the wider region, to these efforts by European countries and the US to get aid into Gaza by sea.
They are welcomed since the land aid is not reaching the people because less trucks can be entered because of the checks of security on the side of the Israel. In addition to that, the air drop aid, it led to killing 5 people in one incident. So there is dangers and there is less trucks going there. So the sea, it seems, is the best way to reach more people. However, there is a problem. How can you reach to Gaza coast while there is no functioning port? So the American trying through this military ship to build a temporary pier in order to allow big ships to come there and to upload, to put the aid to the people in Gaza. There is a ship in Cyprus, 200 tons of aid, which is welcomed, but how to reach them? This is a problem, and the American trying hard based on instruction of the American President Joe Biden to help the Gazan people, because the World Food Program paused delivery of aid because of the looting and gunfire. So there is a safety issue for their staff, and it doesn't like reaching the people. So there is a problem with that, and the UN warns of a famine looming on Gaza because many people, even children, some reports prove that children are starving to death. So the humanitarian situation is very dire. There is a very need for the aid, so there is a pressure. So there is a hope on the sea route, but the problem is how can you put it into practice? The American temporary pier will take, according to the Pentagon, 60 days to be built. So how the European, how this ship in Cyprus can reach Gaza coast and the people in Gaza?
And Saeed, a question about efforts towards a ceasefire. And this is important because this weekend marks the start of the holy month of Ramadan. The US president said he hopes there would be a ceasefire by this time. Where do we stand on that?
It was supposed to be like last Monday to be reaching, according to Mr. Biden, and it didn't happen yet. There is a gap between the two sides. Hamas delegation left Cairo last Friday, and there is still ongoing negotiation and talks between the concerned parties, the Qataris, the Americans, the Egyptians, the Israeli, Hamas, and they're trying very hard to reach, before Ramadan, because if is no deal before Ramadan, it might lead to violence in the region, because if there is intense fighting, intense killing of people, more killed people in Gaza, it will make people go to demonstration, affecting people. So it will be a rage in the area, and the American and the other parties want to avoid that. But so far, there is no indicator that it will be a deal very soon. So they talk about like this temporary pier to give aid for the people in Gaza. It might make the pressure less or reaching a deal very, very, very soon. So I think this kind of efforts to do that, and maybe the Israeli will make less intensive, strikes, surgical strikes.
Explain that. Would there be pressure on Israel, because it has allies in the region? Would there be pressure on Israel maybe to conduct its war differently?
I think so. I think so, because even Israel blame Hamas of putting obstacle to reach a deal, because they said, according to the Israeli, Hamas plays on the emotions of the Muslim world and the Arab world in order to put pressure on Israel to make more concessions in negotiation. This is what Israeli said. Hamas said the opposite. Hamas saying that Israeli was the obstacle because the condition is to withdraw from the Gaza and people go to the north. However, there is a report, according to imagery satellite, Israel built a new road alongside Gaza from the west to the east, and this is going to be a buffer zone between Gaza and Israel, and it might be a speculation about the Israeli presence and control security after the war. So all of that put pressure on the Israeli to make surgical attacks during Ramadan, because I think there is no indicators that will be a deal before Ramadan.
Thank you very much, Saeed Shehata from BBC Arabic. Thanks for joining us on the programme.